welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep, thanks for having me. Absolute pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
So, we know each other now, don't we?
Yes.
And I've seen what you've put yourself through this year, which I'm sure we'll get into in great detail. But before we get into into the bread and butter, what I want to just learn a little bit more about you and maybe your earlier days and sort of where this spark has come from to this led you to what you've done this year.
This fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's that fire come from?
Because you are one of the most driven people I think I've met, and I've seen that this year, and I just want to know what's got you to that point.
Thank you. Well, just going off the words that you just used, then spark, and then I interjected with fire. It started off as something less than a spark. It was very, 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 very subtle. So we'll go back to the beginning of Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance. And it is no secret that I was incarcerated for a quite long period of time, 3.5 years to be precise. And that was all in closed conditions through COVID, through that period. So it was intense. What I do want to get across is I will not be a victim to any circumstance that I am faced with in life. Especially, I was not a victim in this circumstance. I'm a big believer in there's a reaction to every action. Your behaviour has consequences, and I deserved everything that was handed to me regarding my sentence. That being said, I had to deal with it. I had two choices: not change or change. So, something that stands out to me, that obviously makes more sense as the journey goes on, is that when I was apprehended, there was a slight level of calm there and relief, okay? But when I say slight, I mean slight. The overwhelming feeling was, oh, blinking heck, I am in trouble. But there was a slight little level of, do you know what? It's all over. It's done now. Change has to happen. Not change for the community, not change for not just. I thought I was doing okay at the time, okay, but I just knew something has to change. Maybe just not do what I did anymore, so I don't have to ever go to prison again. I don't know, but I just knew change had to happen. So got apprehended. Got sentenced, pleaded guilty at the very, very first opportunity, because again, I just wanted to get things out the way, done, and focus on the future. There was no big plans, just get out, follow my trade, which is plastering, which I still do now alongside the endurance. So that was just, listen, just get out, focused on the plastering, and just look for that easy life, just that nice, easy life. No looking over my shoulder. That was all that that I was searching for at that time. As time went on, as you do whilst incarcerated in prison, you get involved into exercise. Always knew that I had a relative level of fitness through my boxing and my football. In my earlier stage of life. So I'd always come there and thereabouts in the competitions, the festive competitions in the prison. But then there was something within me that I thought, I want to do exercise, but for a long period of time. I don't know whether it was an escape or I don't know, but there was something there just thinking, you know what, I'd love to just... I hadn't read a book on it at this time. I hadn't heard anybody speak. There was just something there that I thought, I wonder how long I could do that for. It might have been a rower, might have been the treadmill, might have just been flinging a barbell about. I wonder how long I could do that for. So I sat down one night and I thought, what can I do in my cell? Because obviously when you're in prison, you have a regime, so certain times of the day you have to be behind your door, other times you're out. So I thought, right, what can I do within my cell where I don't have to leave? So there's no excuses, there's no obstacles. I can just crack on and see how long I can do it for. And there was a big exercise that a lot of people would do, and it was a chest to ground burpees. It's a blinking tough exercise, but it's an exercise that it's an egotistical exercise. How many burpees you can do? How many? You know, it's a conversation that gets had. If you move from wing to wing in prison, the first question you get asked is, right, mate, you look fit. How many burpees can you do? So I thought, you know what? Tomorrow, I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm just going to do as many burpees as I can in 12 hours. And again, just to give you a bit of context, I'm in a pad that's probably 6 foot wide by 8 foot long, and that's without the furniture in. And luckily, my cellmate was my brother. So it was a kind of a case of, well, if he don't like it, sod him. So I got up at 6 a.m. the next morning, and with no numbers in mind, I just started to do chest to ground burpees. Just started doing them. The time come where the door opened for the cell, so then my brother went out. I would carry on doing it, and I kind of got a lot of attention from it. And a few of the lads would come up and say, "Flipping hell, how long have you been doing burpees for?" I've probably been going for about 3 hours at this time. Straight. Now, to me, that's nothing. 3 hours worth of burpee, it's nothing. But at that time, even I was conscious of when an hour and 20 minutes come and I was still doing it. I was probably on something on probably about 700 at this point. But at this point, nobody's been doing it for that long, and neither have I. So I was like, even I was conscious of blinking out. This is a long time. An hour and 20 minutes is a long blinking time. And then 3 hours come, and then lads would then come in with their support, drinks with sugar in, chocolate bars, pretzels, just to keep me going. So I cracked on all day. 12 hours passed, and I got to 5,300 burpees. And again, even I was astonished at the time. So all the lads, they were astonished. I spoke to my brother, who was at home, told him what I had done, and he googled what is the world record for chest to ground burpees, and it became prevalent straight away that I had unofficially broke the world record for the most chest to ground burpees in 12 hours. It's a Guinness Book of Records. Wow. So the next time I spoke to him, with great excitement, he said, "Niall, do you understand what you did the other day? You I think what was a burpee? In fact, no, I didn't smash it, actually. I think I beat it by 3. I think I beat the world record by 3, right? Okay. Now, when I got to 5,000, a friend of mine who absolutely did not participate in exercise. He was a complete antithesis of a fit person. He was in a real sad state. But he was begging me and urging me to stop at 5,000. I think I had about an hour and a half left at 5,000. And he's saying, "Look, Niall, you've done enough now. Just stop." And I nearly bit. But I thought, you know what? Even if I get another 10 done in the next hour and a half, just don't stop. You said you're going to do it for 12 hours. Don't stop till you get 12 hours. So I carried on. And again, luckily I did, because I beat the world record by 3. But I thought, there's something in that. There's something in that. Yes, okay, even if I stopped earlier, I would have thought, well, I had an hour and a half left. I could have easily beat that world record. But it was some of that pushed me to go on, and only beating it by 3. So I still think to this day, I still sit there and think to this day, there was definitely something in that. Definitely something in it. So when I got the news that I've unofficially broke a world record, other than from an egotistical standpoint, that, flipping out, that's great, I thought, well, if that's a world record, I must have something in me. I must have something in me. Now, every fitness competition after that wasn't long, for a long duration. For a short duration, which is admittedly out of my wheelhouse, I was winning them because I had that spark. Yeah. I had that something in me now that, without even me knowing it, that sense of direction, that this is where I'm going. Okay? So I'd win them, and then I ended up coming close with the prison officers in the gym, and when I say close, I mean struck up a relationship surrounding my willingness to go for a very long time. So then they would offer me chances to come down to the gymnasium when it wasn't my time to be in there, because your wings get allocated times when you can go down. Or for myself, I was I held about 3 different jobs in there, so I would get gym quite a lot of times. But they offered if I would like to come down and do something for charity. So we organised a marathon on the treadmill. And again, no training. There was no, obviously I can't run in there. I mean, I had the yard, but I didn't like running around. It was such enclosed space. It was pointless. So I said, yeah, no problem. We'll do the marathon. So did the marathon for Manchester Children's Hospital on a treadmill. I mean, that was a head tickler, just staring at a wall. That was fun. So, but I did the treadmill, I did the marathon in 3.5 hours. And again, I will never be. I am, believe it or not, Ollie, I am biomechanically not built for running. Too much muscle mass, and even when I was boxing and with little muscle mass, I was never the quickest runner, never the best runner. So, for me, just to complete a marathon in 3.5 hours, I was over the moon. Again, with no training specifically for that. I was fit to a certain extent. Obviously, I'm going down to the gym every day, slinging bars about, doing thousands of burpees, but not running fit, specifically fit. So I did that in 3.5 hours, and again, it was just all building this thing within me that, do you know what, I've got something here. Went on to rowed a marathon in 2 hours 50 some. Now these numbers that I'm throwing out here now, they're not special, and that is what I want to get across. That I find it not difficult. That's the wrong word. I don't like to state myself as an athlete. Okay, because I'm not. I'm a plasterer. That's what I am. I'm a plasterer, and as more as I go on through this journey now, I'm building this reputation of being an average guy doing extraordinary things. I would rather just be honest. I'd rather just be honest and come at it with the angle of, I'm a plasterer, that's what I do, that's my profession, but also I'm an average guy who's willing to do extraordinary things for children facing difficult circumstances. And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
So that's that. So again, getting back onto it, that's, the numbers are not anything special. So I rode a marathon. That's all on the Concept 2 website. That will always be there. I think I placed something like, I think it was 7th in the world. Concept 2, that's the make of the rowing machine. They do an online leaderboard, and I placed 7th in the whole world that season doing the row. Again, with no training, just getting on the rower and thinking, how long can I go for on this rower? So at this point now, I'm starting to think, I just want to train and go for a long, long time. So then I come up with this idea of walking up and down my cell for 6, 7, 8 hours straight. So I did that, and then I thought, that's something I could do and sustain every single day. I could make that part of my regime now of doing every single day. So that's what I did. And by doing that, it quieted my mind. But not only did it quiet my mind, it gave me a lot of time to read, because I would read while I was doing it, and I would listen to podcasts whilst I was doing it. So that's where then I really started to become self-aware. As I was doing these walks, I was listening to motivational speeches, podcasts, reading books, and that's when then I realised that this is what I want to do. I want to, when I'm home, alongside my trade plastering, I want to participate in long bouts of exercise, but I don't know why. And this goes on, Tash, to the conversation we had before. I don't know why I want to do it, but I just know that I do want to do it.
Do you think that's because you felt like you could, though? Well, like if you were at this point where you've already done these couple of challenges, and you're sort of there with a lot of time, and you're listening to all these things that are spurring you on, do you think you sort of clicked that you had like a gift that had to be used, and that's what sort of spurred you on?
Well, no, that's nothing clicked at this moment. But something did click in a minute, which I want to get onto. So nothing clicked at this moment, and as we spoke before the podcast, Tash, people would come up to me at this point now. I mean, there was word going about. I would never ever self-proclaim it, but there was a lot of word going about the prison that I'm the fittest man in the prison and this and that. So I had built this reputation for myself. You're going to do personal training when you're out. That's what you're going to do, personal training. Nah, this is not what it's not about. This isn't about others. This is about me. I just want to do this long bout of exercise. But again, why, I don't know. I just want to. So where it clicked. So I'm walking up and down the cell, listening to podcasts, reading books and all that stuff, and knew this is what I want to do. And it was an experience I'll never forget. One that I can't really explain, but one I'll never forget, and it was crazy and profound. So 6 hours of walking up and down the cell every single morning. Every hour I would have a water break. And when I say a water break, I'd just look at me watch. And on the hour, every hour, I'd drink 250 ml water and then carry on walking. Not stop, but just ding it as I'm walking. And this one day, I'm doing my walk, and I thought, right, okay, but must be time for a water break now. And I looked at my clock, and like 3.5 hours or something had passed. And I was like, wow, where's that? Because I was normally good as well at guessing, because I've been doing it that much, at guessing when the hour is for my water break. I'd normally be 6 minutes out, something either side.
Yeah.
But this time I was like 3.5 hours out. I was like, wow, where's that time just gone? And when I thought, wow, where's that time just gone? I knew and realised that what I'd just been thinking about was something very important and very profound, and that was where I'm going with this gift that I've got. And what I was thinking about is charity, children facing difficult circumstances, my will to suffer, my gift of endurance, children facing difficult, and I was trying to make sense of it all. And sense didn't come at that moment in time, but that's all that I could think about is, this is where I'm going to go with it. I'm going to do this for charity.
Yeah. But, has that come from somewhere, that children suffering, or is that just something that you feel?
No, it's just something that it must be innate within me to have compassion for. I can't say I've got empathy for it, because I've never experienced it. I've had a fantastic childhood myself. No children poorly in my family or even facing difficult circumstances. But for some reason, I mean, look, I have a level of compassion for everybody in the world. You, Ola, the judge that sentenced me to handing my sentence down. Not that I have any enemies, but even if I did have enemies, I would have compassion. I have compassion, but true compassion lies with children facing difficult circumstances. So where that comes from, again, I don't know. So then the days after that, after I had that thought, I would then keep a pen and piece of paper and just write ideas down, and all the ideas were connecting my gift, my will to suffer, in order to help children who are facing difficult circumstances. And that's when then this idea of a brand was created. This brand, Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance, does not have any expectations of becoming financially viable. That was one of the big things that I was writing down. That was one of the massive things, that this is not about Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance becoming, this is about me just being able to participate in long bouts of ultra endurance events in order to raise money and awareness for children facing difficult circumstances. And then it just grew from there. It just snowballed from there. I'd write things down, I'd tell people, and then it was born. Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance was born. That's when I say I didn't think I had a gift when I was on that treadmill, when I was on that row, when I was doing them, but I didn't think I had a gift. I just knew that I liked doing it.
Yeah.
But then when I fully created Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance and really put a map in of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it and raise money for children, and that's when then I thought, it is a gift. It's a gift, or if you don't want to label it a gift, it's my duty. Outside of Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance, it's Niall Trainor's duty as a human being to serve this planet that I occupy and just help children. That is, and I will proceed through the rest of my life, regardless of what direction my life goes to upon release. I will always have that. Now, Trainor Ultra Endurance will always be me, whether I'm working in Asda, whether I'm a plasterer, whether I lose. People used to say to me, what would you do if you lost a limb, or if you, as I said, I'd go and win a gold medal in the Paralympics. You know, that's how much exercise means to me now, that under no circumstances will I ever stop exercising, because as you just said, it's more than just exercise to me now. It's exercise for a bigger cause, a bigger purpose.
And you said before you won't be a victim of the circumstances that you're in, and that resonates with everything you've just said there again as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you so you've had this sort of moment of realization then, and I know at the end of the season this year, you sort of put a post out that sort of briefly said about where you were. So you found you can do it now. Did you get a call from your? When did you first learn about GB Ultras and those events? Did you get a call from your brother?
Yes. So again, Mark. So I'll put a name to my brother. It's Mark. He's a good person, very good person, and he's always got my best interest at heart. And once I told him about, I would always, whenever I've got good news, I like to speak to Mark. Mark's the first person that I go to, because I know he's very logical. He's a very logical thinker. He's a businessman, very logical thinker, and you will always get the truth from him. So when I spoke to him after the burpee world record, and he was saying, "Look, Niall, do you understand what you've done here? If it was anybody else, I'd only have the metrics to go off that. Oh, okay, yeah. So I've beat a world record by 3. I'm not saying there would have been doubt there, but it just would have been metrics. But with Mark relaying that back with the words, "Do you understand what you've accomplished here?" Give it a bit more substance. So one night I ring, and again the thing is, I ring home being my mother's, and it just happened to be that Mark was there. And I heard Mark in the background saying, "Mum, let me just speak to him a minute." So he went, so I've been Googling ultra endurance, ultra marathon events in Britain, and GB Ultras seem to be probably the most well organised one out there. And I've joined their Facebook page, and there was a post earlier on with a sequence of races, and each race would, so he explained to me that which Ollie will understand. They do a 50-mile Grand Slam and a 100-mile Grand Slam, which requires you to do, the 100 is 4 100-mile races in a single season, all 4, and the 50-mile Grand Slam is to complete 5 of their 8 races. But somebody had, just being a bit facetious really, somebody put a list of all the races on. A cumulative would be both Grand Slams in a single season, with a laughing face saying, "Imagine somebody completed this." And apparently people were saying, "Nah, do you know what?" As well, and I should actually find the original comment, the original post.
Yeah.
I've never actually researched to go back for it, but surely it will still be there. And people say, "No, absolutely no way. It can't be done. It can't be done. It's it's impossible, can't be done. And the furthest I'd run, I think, at that point was the marathon on a treadmill. But outside of that was 10 miles, or I think when I was boxing. So a lot of comments on the post were saying impossible, it was impossible. And the furthest I ran at that point, other than the marathon on the treadmill, was 10 miles. Never even climbed a mountain. But you know what, though, in all fairness, well, I definitely didn't put together ultra running and mountain climbing.
Yeah.
I just had this thing in my head of running far, 100 miles far, because I remember getting absolutely peed when I competed in the Snowdon 100. We'll get onto that. So I just knew I could do the double Grand Slam. I knew I could do the double Grand Slam. And I said, you know what, Mark? Let's get it booked. Let's get it booked for the year after I'm out. And that is what I'll do. And that'll be my, not homecoming, that'll be my what's what I'm looking for now? My coming out. That'll be my coming out show, the GB Ultras double Grand Slam, something that nobody's ever done before.
So when you get that call from your brother then, how long into your sentence were you? How long did you have left?
So I think I had about 12 months left.
And did that really spur you on because it gave you that sort of purpose to what you'd been doing? Because at the moment, obviously, you said you've been doing, all the challenges, but it was very just to challenge yourself and because of the situation you were obviously in. But did that spark something where you were like, I've got a purpose now of what I want to get ready for, and that you know what you're going to be doing with your year next year?
Yes and no. It gave me direction, not purpose. Because at this point now, I've already found which I believe my purpose, and I say that with the greatest authenticity. Niall Trainor, as a human being, has found his purpose. I have found my purpose, and that is Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance. That is my purpose. Just follow that, Niall. Just follow that there, and you're gonna be all right. And I believe that from the bottom of my heart. As long as I follow that and what that is predicated on, and the beliefs that I discovered and formed whilst creating that, I'll be okay. Never mind, not that I'll be okay, the world will have a good person occupying it. Even if no other person on this earth's good, I'll be good whilst I'm following that. So like I say, I already had that, but what it did is it gave me direction, it gave me something to say, right, this is what I'm going to do now. But bear in mind, which was what was more prevalent to the ultra running was the burpee world record, getting that officialised, getting that done officially, which again we can go on to again in a minute. That was more forefront of my mind.
Right, okay.
Getting out and getting them done. So when we booked the double Grand Slam,
I'm sorry, when did you book it? Can you remember like what roughly the date was you would have booked that? So it would have been booked for the 2024 race season?
No, pardon me, the 2024 race season.
Yeah.
But at the same time of booking that, I also booked the Snowdon 100.
Yeah.
For the 2023 season.
Yeah. Because
that was the date for that. September the 2nd was 3 weeks after my release.
Really? So that's when I first met you. And when I say met you, you just sort of ran past me for the first time.
Right, okay.
That's the first time I would have, because one of our favourite photos we ever took is of you, and it's coming on the descent of Snowdon.
Yeah.
And he's got no top on, his shorts, he's powering down the hill. Everyone else was like coming down the hill like this. I'll see if I can show you actually, Tash.
Well, if you don't need to look, if you looked up, if the dictionary had pictures to to give substance to the meaning of words, if you looked up inexperience under the dictionary, it should have that picture next to it.
Wow.
That picture may have caused.
These pictures are amazing.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
So at the time, obviously, we were just taking pictures of a runner. Like obviously, it's crazy, isn't it? what we do, like, there's absolutely no idea of the stories of the people we're taking photos of. So little did we know at the time what you just been through over the past 3-4 years. You'd come out 3 weeks ago. And because everyone else is having to take, because it's really busy Snowdon, so everyone else is having to come down the hill like quite carefully, but there's a route that you could just throw yourself off and just get down quicker and
that's what I did.
And miss all the crowd. That's why it looks so empty, because everyone else is to my right queuing up.
Well, do you know what was brilliant again? So when I went back to, when I had this vision of ultra running, I had this vision of I knew it was on the trails, but for some reason I just didn't envision mountains.
Yeah.
Okay. I
even one called Snowdon.
Yeah. Even one. Well, the Snowdon 100. I didn't even read up on it. I didn't. And this wasn't overconfidence or anything like that. It was just, I don't know. I just didn't.
It feels like your focus was on so much about getting it done and like challenging yourself. Maybe you didn't even need to think about what it was.
Exactly, and that's exactly that. I didn't overlook it. I didn't. I just weren't. Just didn't have interest in what it was about. All my interest was at that time is participate in something that in lines with that.
Yeah, I think that says a lot about your mindset though as well, because it's almost like you're saying it doesn't matter what it is. That's irrelevant because I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's irrelevant.
So going up Trifan.
Oh okay.
Going up Trifan. This is in my first ultramarathon Snowdon 100 in the 2023 season, and it's flat to the foot of Trifan, and Trifan's the first climb. So I'm enjoying myself. I'm sure I was in the top. Sometime I was in the top 5, but I may have been in the top 10 or something, getting to the foot of Trifan. I think I was up there getting to mile 50 or I think mile 40. Then we had a calamity with forgetting my head torch, so we had to wait at the aid station before for Mark, who was crewing me that time, to come, and so then I dropped a few places. Anyway, get to the foot of Trifan, and then Trifan is a scramble up.
Yes,
and all I'm doing is cursing, saying, I come here to effing run. I didn't come here to climb a mountain. Do you know what I mean? I come here to run. I come here for my heart rate to go through the blinking ceiling. Because I had all plans of sprinting this 100 mile. That's what I thought. I thought, as you just alluded to there, my mindset, there was no pacing. There was no, and that's why I was up there for the first 40 miles, because it was just a case of, from gun to tape, give it your all. So then when I come to these bloody walls that I have to scramble up, I'm thinking, I've not come here for this. I've come here to run. Not Linky do this. But then as we got into the race, I started to enjoy it. Then started to enjoy it. Yeah. But so, like you say, that there was 3 weeks after being released. I did a couple of long runs in that meantime to train for it, but that was it. And that race was of great significance to me, in the sense of, if I would have finished, the result of that race was to great significance to me, because if I would have finished that race, I don't know what the implications would have been in the sense of my confidence and where I would have gone from that, because up until that time, I had never failed as an athlete. And what I mean by that is, go and row a marathon, even though I've never done more than 5k in the row before. I'll do that. Went and did it. Run a marathon on the treadmill, even though I've never ran more than 10 miles before, no training. Went, did it.
Yeah.
You know, burpee world record, 12 hours. I know I didn't go into that to break a world record, but then I did the hour burpee world record whilst in custody. And the world record at the time was 888, I think. But I said, sod that. I'm going to be the first person to do 1,000 chest to ground burpees in an hour. So I created my own little program called the Road to 1,000 Burpees in 60 minutes. About a 4 or 5 week training program. Went and smashed that, 117 burpees in an hour or something. And then I did the 3-minute burpee world record. So basically what I'm getting at is, everything that I set out to do, I smashed. I super exceeded my own expectations. So the result at Snowdon 100 was not that I needed humbling.
Did you DNF?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Right. Okay. Right. So I DNF, but
and it's really interesting, actually.
Not only did I DNF, it makes for a fantastic story.
What does DNF mean?
Did not finish.
Did not. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I DNF'd, did not finish. But I mean, and also as well, when I tell your average person this story, you get mixed, mixed reviews, because people, when I say that I ran, so I DNF'd at 92 miles, which is the final checkpoint before the finish line.
Is it 100 miles?
100 miles, yes, yeah. So 92 miles, that's the final checkpoint of the 100 miles. I got to that checkpoint and missed by 11 minutes.
Oh, you missed the
right?
cut-off.
Yes, I missed the cut-off, yes.
So each checkpoint, Tash, has like cut-off. So say there's 7 checkpoints across the race and you start at 6 a.m, you've got to be at checkpoint 1 by 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So if you're after the time, you can't continue.
Okay.
Yeah. So I missed it by 11 minutes due to navigation.
And like the head torch situation, that
yeah,
kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but that weren't really the catastrophe of it. I was still well on track for that, but then I got lost. If you remember, there was 2 diversions, two quite significant diversions, and one of them was at the top of the last climb.
Right.
And I had my watch set to the original course. So then I downloaded the new one in the morning, okay, with the diversions on, but forgot to delete the old one, right? So now I've got 2 Snowdon 100. Bear in mind, I'm 3 weeks into my ultramarathon career at this point, absolutely brand spanking new. I'm still in the wrapper. I have 2 Snowdon 100 GPX on my thing, so it's a 50-50 chance. Just got to delete one. So I ended up reading the wrong one. So I missed a diversion. I can see where I should be, right across the valley. Big dip like that, right across the valley. I can see a couple of runners over the side there. And I thought, right, I've got 2 options here. Just go back to where I need to go and come back round myself, or just try and cut straight across this valley. How hard can it be?
Mm.
Oh, wow. It was absolute torture. It was just boggy, moorland. It was that difficult. The grass looked like a football pitch.
Yeah.
Until you stepped on it, and I just went disappeared in it. Then climbed back to the top and just disappeared. It was that tough. I seen a river on my watch. So I thought the best thing for me to do is to get to the river and swim, because it's easier than this.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't even get to the river. It was that hard. I couldn't even get to the river. So I fought through it. I ended up actually getting back on track. But again, I seen this green dot on my watch, and for some reason I thought that was a checkpoint. Don't ask me why. Bear in mind, I've been on my feet now for about 34 hours, no sleep, and I thought this green dot was the checkpoint. So I followed it, even though the blue line's telling me to go another way. I thought, that's the check. I don't know why. Honestly, I still have no explanation for it now. So, got on track, got to the green dot, come to the last corner, turn the corner, I expect the GB Ultras banners all to be there, and I turn this corner, and there's like an old church, which looks very much like it could be a checkpoint. Ironically, like it would make for a fantastic checkpoint. But it just wasn't.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. I just sort of sat down and rang Mark and said, "It's over." He went, "What do you mean it's over?" I said, "It's done, I'm lost." He said, "I know you are. Me and Wayne are sat here talking now, saying that you're going off track and this and that." I said, "It's over." So he went, "Right, I'm going to come down and get you." So he runs down. I try and make my best way that I can to the jet, but he comes down, meets me, and then we both run up, and I get to the checkpoint, and I'm 11 minutes over the cut off.
How does that feel when? Because obviously you'll have been building towards that event for a significant time. I imagine it probably consumed a lot of your thoughts for leading up to it.
Yeah.
How did that feel? 1, because you'd never really failed a challenge up to that point, and 2, you've obviously been introduced into this world. Because like you said, you maybe just thought you were going to run, but there's so much more to these ultras than just running. Like obviously,
so much more.
And the navigation alone can be the difference in not finishing the event.
Do you know what, Alec? There's so much more, but I mean, I was going to use the word mastered then, but I absolutely did not master it. But I smashed everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I didn't tell anybody, okay, other than my very, very close circle. I still to this day, I use the word failed on my first ultraman. I use the word failed, and a lot of people go, "You didn't fail. 92 miles is not a no." Listen, with all due respect, by my standards and where I failed, well, it just is. It just by its very definition, not completing an 100-mile race that you signed up for. Whether you got to 99.9 miles, I think it's a fail. So.
But the amount you learned from it.
Exactly the amount I learned from it. And I didn't. Like I say, it didn't go beyond my tight circle, but we knew I would have smashed it without that catastrophic navigation error. It would have been completed. It's that simple. It's that simple. So that being that, I learned what I took from it. I learned a lot. I learned a lot, like you say. But when I say learn a lot, you can learn. Like you say, you can learn two things. You can learn from failure, or you can learn from success. And all I learned from failure was to get to know me watch better.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot from success. I knew that, which I kind of already knew anyway through doing the burpees and stuff in there, that I'm very good with nutrition. Yeah. I'm very good with nutrition. I used to have a laugh with people in there and like say, when people say, so what do you eat when you're doing these long things? And my digestive system is like a blinking, honestly, it's like a tank. It's just robust. And I always said that. And pretty much do. I will have a bowl of oats. I'd leave it up to so I used to get to I get to the GB Ultra event half an hour before, 1 minute before the tracker collection shuts. Okay, so that's 31 minutes before the actual race starts. On the way up there, I'm stuffing my face with oats because I kind of learned that I would rather stuff my face with oats, knowing that I don't get cramp or I don't get digestive issues, and I'm fuller for longer during the race. Instead of science would suggest that you leave it 2-3 hours before, where I don't. I can go right. So again, just little things like that. I learn a lot from the things that went right. The one thing that went wrong, and the only thing that went wrong, was
navigation. You
could say, me pacing was all out of whack. Like I said, Sash, where I started off as I started off as an 100-metre 100-metre sprint on 100-mile race. But that wasn't the reason why we didn't finish. So, yes, you adjust that going forward, but that's not really a lesson. It's just something that I kind of already knew. It's just down to experience. So, like I say, the lesson that I learned was just literally become more savvy with the navigation on my watch, and that's what we did.
Yeah, and that was that would have been in September, which means your first event would have been Manchester Liverpool 2024 March.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, but
so November, December, January. So you've got like 5 months now to unpack and
get like you say, get sorted for that. So after this snow, so what I say is another feeling, another feeling that I got from that situation that again was profound. I mean, there's a video, but so another thing again, Tash, you'll like this. So again, I said, Mark, come down to the ravine, pick me up, didn't touch me or anything like that. He just said, come on, we're only 2 minutes away from the checkpoint. Come on. So, basically just motivated me to get to the checkpoint. And little did I know, my family planned to be at the finish line.
Oh.
Okay, family planned to be at the finish line, but obviously news trickled down that I ain't going to make it. So they come to that checkpoint. But again, I didn't know this. Yeah. So I'm beat up now. I'm gutted the fact that I knew that I've not made the checkpoint. So I knew it was all over. But I had a discussion with myself that 1 minute I was laid down in a field with cows, just thinking, that's it, I'm done. I'm getting picked up from here, and it's all done. But then I thought, no, at least get to the checkpoint, and then call it a day there. Well, not call it a day, but you will be pulled out. You're not going to make the time. So as I come up and we get onto the road where the checkpoint is, as I turn the corner, all my family there, my mum, come on, son, my sister, come on, bro. I was like, flipping heck. So that they got videos of me, and I look a right mess. I look an absolute mess. But there's one video that stands out, and I'm sat on the chair like this. I've got my trainers off by this point. I'm there, and one of the medics say, "Do you want a drink, Niall?" And I go, I'll show you the video after, Tash. I go. I just want to go home. And I look like, honestly, I look so vulnerable. It is unreal. And that's all I wanted to do at that point. I just wanted to go home. There was no...
Did you feel defeated?
I don't... defeated, yeah. But, see, this is the thing about me, Tash, 'cause I'm a very, very deep thinker. I felt defeat, like I said, about failure and failure. Yes, I failed. On the assessment of the day completing 100 miles, but I understand when people say you didn't fail, you completed 92 miles 3 weeks after being out. It's the same as, I felt defeated because I had an assignment to complete that day which I didn't complete. But I knew that there was no doubt. I just knew that the task hadn't been completed, but we go forward. So then I got home. Can't remember the drive home. I was out for the count. But again, I know a feeling that's profound, and I remember, and I even went into my mum and reiterated to my mum. So when I was unloading all the car with all my stuff from the race, I got a feeling that this is who I am. When I was unloading the stuff, it's like, I want to do this again. Don't mean the race, I mean unloading the stuff out of the car. This is who I am. There's only one reason why I'm unloading ultra-marathon equipment out the back of a car, because I'm an ultra-marathoner. If you're not, in order to be the person who you want to be, you have to do the things that are required. And the reason why I was unloading a car full of ultra gear is because I'm doing what I envisioned doing. And I thought, you know what, I like this.
The thought of doing the next one, was that something that at that time, could you even think about doing the next one?
Yes.
Or even on that same day? Was that straight away?
Yeah, straight away. Yeah, straight away. But again, so we'll move on to the next one. I knew that I had the burpee world record coming up. I had that for November. The date sealed.
And this was to do it like officially?
Officially, yeah. Guinness Book of Records.
November 23?
November... 2023. I thought you were asking for the actual date. I was like, November 23, yeah. So I've signed up to the Guinness Book of Records and I've paid an extra fee. It's called a fast track fee. And I don't want to badmouth Guinness Book of Records, absolutely not. Not until I get my world record anyway. But I paid an extra fee for a fast track fee. To complete a world record, a Guinness Book of Records, it's free. You just have to gather evidence required that they stipulate, send it off to them, and I think it's a couple of months process.
Right.
And I didn't want to wait a couple of months. I wanted my world record there, and then when I had done it, so they offer an option called a fast track where they send a adjudicator out, and there and then you get awarded your certificate. So I suppose it's a bit like, remember the TV program that used to do Guinness Book of Records, and the man in the white lab coat would go, Tash, just give me 1 minute, I can convert, that kind of thing. So signed up for that, and it's not cheap, but we signed up for it through the sponsors, and about a month later, I got an email from the Guinness Book of Records saying that they couldn't facilitate the adjudicator because it's a 24-hour record. So they haven't got an adjudicator who's willing to sit there for 24 hours.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's like, right, okay, but you should have thought that through and put a limit on what the fast track can go up to or whatever anyway. So I said, right, okay, no worries, what do we need to do? Well, there's the stipulations. You need to get your own adjudicators or your own witnesses and this and that. So I did got the witnesses, and then they said that the witnesses need to be or have a background in sports, like a boxing coach or personal trainer or something like that. Right, okay.
It's growing arms and legs.
When it got to exactly, and like I say, to cut a long story short, that is what it did. It grew multiple arms, multiple legs, obstacle after obstacle, which we overcome. And then I think it was about 2 or 3 days before the record attempt, which Ollie's slightly aware of this because we've had a conversation regarding the certain issue. We had an issue surrounding gathering the video evidence for it. And again, it's a bit more complex. It's a bit of a complex situation because it's over 24 hours. It has to be an unbroken footage for 24 hours. So the videographer who we had at the time said, "Look, Niall, it's possible, but my equipment isn't, it isn't suitable for that." And that was about 3 days before. So I just said, you know what, it's not meant to be. Well, it is meant to be, and one day it will get done. But as of now, and again, I've not been running for ages. I've been in my mum's shed, doing hours and hours. My Instagram will show it. Hours and hours of burpees, thousands and thousands of burpees a day. It was this time last year, so it was dark, miserable, and I was just out there grinding, missing running, missing that freedom in exercise. Even though I'm a man of structure and regime, I also like a bit of freedom just to go and do. I'll go and do a bar circuit or go and do something other than what I'm actually. But again, I'm fully committed to where if I'm training for something, I'm all in. Do you know what I mean? So I was missing that freedom. So when that last obstacle, I just thought, you know what, let's just park this. Let's just put this on the back burner for now. We'll go and do something and we'll come back to it. So that the day that the world record attempt was going to happen, I arranged a 24-hour run around circumnavigating my council estate. To raise a good community spirit, bring everyone together. And it was a success. Well, it wasn't a success. I think I got to 17 hours, only covering 61 miles. When I say only, 61 miles in 17 hours to my standard is not a lot. But I don't know if it's because it was running on flat surfaces or what, but my knees just gave up on me. So from 40 miles onwards, it was absolute torture. But I just stuck in. But it was a great event, raised a lot of money for children facing difficult circumstances. The community come together. That was the event where my inbox was just inundated with people off the estate. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. It's one thing watching me on social media go and do these runs here, there and everywhere, but to drive past me at 3 PM and to drive back past me at 12, you know what I mean? It was like surreal for your average person on the estate. So that's what I ended up doing, making most of my time, making most of that date that I had for the world record. And then that so that was that, and then obviously then I had the double Grand Slam booked for the next year, so I had the rest of that year off. When I say I had it off, I think I had about a week off. My physio said you need 2 weeks rest and then we'll get back into just doing light work, and I think I had 4 days rest straight into heavy work. And I said to him, look, Tony, I can't have time off.
You had to get back on it.
I had to get back on it. Went and climbed Snowdon Christmas Eve. Nearly got stuck.
Oh my god.
Got stuck up Crib Gock.
Oh my god. So then we're at 2024 then. We're at the year. We're at this year. I mean, you've had a hell of a year.
Yeah.
Obviously I've seen you on every event really, and you're always so you can register for the events the night before or the morning of.
Right.
So we're always there the night before doing some content for GP Ultras and stuff, and that's mostly when we catch up, isn't it?
Yeah.
The night before the event. Talk to us about this year you've had then, because you've done what people said wasn't doable.
We've got to go back and find that comment.
Absolutely, yeah, we have.
You've got to reply to that comment.
We must do. Yeah. So
sorry. Just before what are the events that you did that make up the double Grand Slam? Right.
Okay. So to break it down, in order to complete the double Grand Slam, you have to complete 2 Grand Slams, okay? One of them being the GB Ultras 100-mile Grand Slam, and that's complete all 4 100-mile races in a single season. And then the 50-mile Grand Slam is to complete 5 of their 8 50-mile ultramarathons in a single season, okay?
How long's the season?
The season is, I think, it's 8 months.
Okay.
So from March to October.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think if my mind serves me correct, if my memory serves me correctly, I think I did 9 in 8. Well, yeah, I did. Yeah, so 9 in 8 months. Yeah, 8 months.
I think the first event of the year is on Good Friday.
Right.
So it's like March, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, I remember, yeah, it is, yeah. And the first event is the Chester 50.
Oh, Chester 50, yeah.
Chester
Sorry,
50.
M2L is on Good Friday, so it was Chester 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
right, is it? Yeah. I knew one was on Good Friday, yeah.
Yeah, that's the M2L one. So you rock up in Chester then.
Yeah.
Whole season ahead of you. What's going through your mind?
Well, we complete the Chester 50, but my good friend who crewed me through the full season, which he doesn't get enough props and what he deserves, Stuart.
Is that who comes?
He's also he's my business partner. With the plastering, and what he's done this year. I mean, the commitment and sacrifices he's had to take it's phenomenal.
I mean, we briefly touched on your support before, and what a lot of people maybe don't see with ultra runners is it's not sometimes. I mean, people do unsupported runs, but there is a whole team behind some of the runners, and he's been there for you for every single event.
Yeah.
You've got that support team that are at the checkpoints, driving you around, picking you up. It's he's done an amazing job as well this year.
And so he always touches on a statement that I made after finishing the 50, the Chester 50. We got in the van, and I just looked at him and said, "You know what, mate? I don't know whether I can be bothered with this double Grand Slam, you know." Honestly, like, your feet are just battered. And you're thinking, I think 53 miles, to be fair, I think Chester 50 was. As we know, GB Ultras like to put a few
Wayne mile, yeah.
Put a few secret. Yeah, that's what it's known as, yeah. Honestly.
I've done some recce's with Wayne, and we did some, going up to positions to take photos in sometimes, and he knows that I've clicked on now, but it's so funny because he's like, we're just heading over there. About 2 miles, like we'll do it in about 20 minutes, and you're there like 2 hours in, thinking, Wayne, you've had me on here.
He loves it, doesn't he? Absolutely loves it.
Extra sneaky mile in there.
Yeah,
extra
sneaky 10.
And like say, going back onto what some people would say, going back onto Snowdon just briefly, quickly, going back onto Snowdon 100 last year when I got to 92. Some people would say 92, that's brilliant, that especially in your situation, but others would say, "Oh, couldn't you have just done them last 8 miles?" And it's like, first and foremost, no, because if you was listening to me, you would see that it's a cut off and you can't go any further. But secondly, 8 miles. I mean, I could go and run 8 miles now, no problem. Not an issue at all. 8 miles is relatively short, but 8 miles any time after probably 75 miles, it becomes
brutal.
long, becomes brutal. Yeah. So
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So like I say, so when I finished the Chester 50, 53 miles, and I was just thinking, is this possible? And we've discussed this in the interviews that we've done previously. Yeah. Just thinking, is this possible? Because we've got to bear in mind that we don't know whether it's possible at this point. I'm thinking, and then not only that, looking at the calendar, I'm thinking,
it's only like 2 weeks to M2L, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
The thing is about the race season is once it starts, it's full on. So, like after Chester, it's pretty much 2 weeks to Manchester to Liverpool, and then 2 weeks after Manchester to Liverpool, it's like Chester 100. So
yeah, and again, so this is like this is the exclusive thing about the double Grand Slam, is to do the 100 Grand Slam, you have to do all 100, all 4 100-mile races, so you don't get to pick and choose. But they're spaced out quite forgivingly. Okay. The same as if you do the 50-mile Grand Slam, you get to choose 5 out of the 8.
Okay.
However you want to do that.
So you could plan them out and spread them out
based on your schedule. Yeah. If you picked up an injury, if you picked up an injury and you had the next 50-miler in 4 weeks, you could not do that 50-mile and just book on to another of one of them 8 50 miles. You with me? So with the double Grand Slam, I did not have that opportunity. Okay, so the races were set out, predetermined for me. So I basically competed in the full race series. So I mean, I say the full race series. You've got Race Across Scotland, Hope, Skye. Yeah. But I don't think they're actually part of the race. The race series are M2L, Chester.
Yeah,
They're more like
Sky was new this year, and Race Across Scotland's like the flagship.
Yes,
like it's like a standalone event, Race Across Scotland.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, like I say, the double Grand Slam requires you race in all races in the race day. So I don't get to pick and choose. They come as they are. Yeah. So that was the biggest worry, was the recovery. How am I gonna recover and go on to the next one?
Because it sounds like where your mind is now after finishing Chester, you were still thinking of the bigger picture of the double Grand Slam. But I think this year, maybe as you've got through it, as I've spoke to you, your mind was never really on the double Grand Slam. It was always on the next event.
Absolutely.
So maybe after Chester, you were thinking of the bigger picture, and it seemed a bit overwhelming. But as you've got through the season, maybe you'd learned to just think about what was in front of you. Because I remember when I spoke to you at what was the one before G2E?
One before G2E was Snowdon.
Snowdon. Yeah, 'cause I spoke to you at Snowdon, and you said,
have they all got little codes?
Oh, G2E just like Glasgow to Edinburgh.
Yeah, and then M2L is Manchester to Liverpool.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. You can tell I've never been to one of these events, can you?
when you did Snowdon, I was sort of saying, when you get Snowdon out of the way, you're almost there, and you were thinking, no, I'm just gonna Snowdon's in front of me now, and then tomorrow, Glasgow to Edinburgh will be in front of me. So your mindset maybe changed a little bit just to not think of the bigger picture.
Yes, yeah. I mean, ultimately, the big milestone was the Chester 100, because that was the first 100 mile that I completed. It's the first time that I have reached 100 mile after previously continuously saying that I'm capable of doing it, I will do it, and I never actually. It was quite awkward actually, from Snowdon 100 initially to Chester 100, when people would ask me, so Niall Trainor, what do you do? And I'd say, so I'm an ultra-marathoner, so what's an ultra-marathon? So I run 100 miles, I run 50 miles. Now, I'd ran 50 miles in training runs numerously up to that point, but I've never actually ran 100 miles, so I had to kind of retract and go, I've not actually completed 100 miles yet, but that's, do you know what I mean? But that's sort of, so it was quite awkward actually. I had to, so I run 100 miles. Well, I run 92 miles.
It's quite hard when you know you can do something though, but you were just waiting for the opportunity to be able to actually black and white. So, I run 100 mile races.
When I completed the Chester 100, obviously it was reassuring to myself, but it wasn't redemption. It wasn't like. It was a monkey off the back in the sense that I had 3 figures on my Garmin, and I knew that I can cover that distance, but I knew there was still that bigger picture to go back and complete the Snowdon 100. But once I completed the Chester 100, and like I say, that monkey was off my back, then I could kind of like you were saying, then block it out and not look at the bigger picture. I've done 100 miles now. I know I can. So now I need to look at it a different way. Now I need to be a bit more strategic about it. And my strategy was block it out. Literally, like we said in interviews, Tash, I used to not even think about it until I was at the start line. And then when I was at the start line, boom, that's when I'd switch on. And go. I just numb it out. It, because there's no point in worrying about something that, I'd make sure that all my equipment was gathered, organised 4 or 3 days before, so then I can just switch off then. I can just switch off, get to the event, get to that start line and go, oh, bloody hell, it is another one. It's only 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I was there, let's go again. And then I'd go and crack on and get it completed.
Would you train up until that 3-4 days? Or what was it,
So... Again,
because 2 weeks it's not a massively long time to recover from a 100-mile race.
It's not. And like you say, you can Google how do I train for a marathon? How do I train for an ultra marathon? How do I train for an 100-miler? You can Google all them because they've been done before, but you can't Google how do I train for the GB Ultras double Grand Slam, because if Google was being honest, it would say, I don't know, because no one's done it before. I only go off information that I have been programmed into me, and unfortunately, that's not been programmed into me. So I come at it with a strategy of preservation. Okay, I knew I wasn't going to win any of these races. Not even if I trained specifically and solely for a 100-mile run. Again, like we touched on before, I'm not biomechanically built for running. I'm just not the best runner. Period. So I knew that winning these is not the goal. It's finishing them. So the only thing that's going to stop me from finishing them is an injury.
Yeah.
So it's all about preservation. I stay fit enough to complete the 100-mile races throughout the year. It's just making sure that my body stays fit enough in terms of injuries, making sure that I don't get any niggles. Well, you always get niggles, but make sure that I don't get any injuries to such an extent where I can't run.
It's maintaining
so
that
it's
standard
just
so you can go
yes,
again.
absolutely.
And again,
so
and again.
what I would do is I would keep the miles low but the volume high. So just get out there every day. And basically it was consistency to me in the fact that if I'm out running 5 miles every day, it's what I do. I'm staying, my mind's staying focused on running. Whether I'm running 5 miles, 20 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles, all I know is that I run every day. You know, so I'm just staying in that mindset.
It's interesting, obviously, you just mentioned mindset there, because it's like there was never any doubt in your mind that the mental side of things would ever be the problem. It's always the physical side, that if anything was going to go, your body would go before your mind, which is something that me and you have spoke about a lot before. But that is something about you, like, it's not even a question about your mind.
Yeah.
And how do you put yourself in that position when you are 85 miles into a race? What is it that's ticking you over? Like you said, you know, when you said about you did the walks in your cell and like 3 hours went like that.
Yeah.
Where is your mind during those spaces? Because there's a difference between walking, you know, in your cell and walking up, being there up Snowdon. Like, what are you that blank anyway? Or are you locked in? Where's your mind?
Your mind is. So again, what me and Tash were having a conversation before we kicked this podcast off, and I come up with a statement that I say quite a lot, is the most honest and integral conversation you will ever have is the one that you have with yourself. You see some beautiful views out on the GB Ultra circuit, some stunning views.
Yeah, there are some really good. The routes are incredible.
They're useless. They're invaluable. They are because you're
brilliant.
You're suffering. You've not got. And listen, you might get another runner here who said, no, I can only speak from my, know, and how I handle things. There's no time to look around and look at the views, because you've got to stay. I have to stay
in that
focused
space.
In that space, yeah, with conversations that again, very deep, very deep conversations. So when I'm out running, I will be thinking about what I'll be thinking. My thoughts will be surrounded about Niall Trainor as a person. Nothing to do with running, nothing to do with it. Niall Trainor as a person, and kind of like I use running as a time to reflect and judge myself and think, are you living within accordance of who you want to be, who you believe that you are?
It's coming back to that self-awareness, like you were saying
exactly
before.
Because every time I go out running, it takes me back to that place where this all derived from. And it's a reminder of you are still to this day, 12 months on, 18 months on, living in line with who not who you created. I don't believe I created it, but who you want to become, who you want to be, who you're striving to be. The figures will show the money that I've raised for children facing difficult circumstances, that accumulated with the miles on my Garmin, with all the pictures on my Instagram. Again, that's another one that all you have to do is look at my Instagram to know that I'm the real deal. And when I say the real deal, I mean I'm the real deal within the person who I say I am.
Yeah.
I've openly admitted I'm not the fastest runner. Never will be. Never really want to be.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't go to bed at night thinking, oh, I'd love to win one of them.
Yeah. It's not about it.
It's not about that.
Doesn't even cross my mind. Doesn't even cross my mind. What I do go to bed at night thinking is, have I been a good person? You know, am I living in line with who I want to be, with who I believe I am? So I think it goes further than just running.
Yeah.
You know, do you know what I mean? And again, going back onto what I said before about, even if I lost a limb or whatever circumstance I find myself in, I will always revert back to exercise, because exercise is like a release for me. So I'm not exercising to be the best. I'm exercising for myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For myself. So when you said then, I think you was more touching on, Ola, correct me if I'm right, what you're thinking about when you're in that suffer mode.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, because
when you're 90 miles in.
Yes.
Like you said, those 3 hours at that time just vanish. Like, are you not thinking about anything? Are you thinking about? You just constantly reminding yourself why you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, so again.
Because I imagine at that point you're in pain.
Yeah, absolutely.
At that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what keeps you going?
Yeah.
What mentally keeps you going?
So again, just to bring clarification and sense to what I was getting at. And so when I run, I'm not a businessman. Okay, I'm not a business like I don't want to. Me and my business partner have got enough plastering work on to take other plasterers on, and but I refuse to do that because I don't want any other person with. I don't want to be giving responsibility to somebody to have to work to my standard. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to give someone a job and then get a phone call of a customer saying, Niall, you come and plastered our room last year and it was fantastic, but this job that you've just given this lad to come and do, it's not half as good. Like, I don't want that stress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not worth it. I'm not chasing money. I'm just happy to go out, plaster walls to make a living, to buy new running trainers or whatever, and that's make.
Yeah, we've had people on the podcast talking about sort of growing the business, and that's the one of the challenges that we have spoke about is when you do grow, how do you instill your culture into the business? So obviously you're trusting other people with sort of your name, your culture
Big
of your work.
Yeah, exactly. So like say, so again, that went off tangent a bit there. So basically what I'm getting at is that when people go out running, they think about different things productively. So a businessman will think about business. And I am a very deep thinker. I am very, very, very self-aware, study stoicism. So when I'm out running, that's what I'm thinking about. That's my time to reflect.
Yeah.
And then I'll think, you know, these last couple of weeks or whatever have I been living in line with things. So that's what I think about when I go out running on a daily basis. That's basically what ticks in my mind.
Yeah.
When I'm suffering, and then the thoughts become more aggressive and more intense, I think about the children then. And what I always think about is, if I really wanted to, I have the luxury to just knock it on the head. I could just knock this race on the head. I could just knock Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance on the head. I could just stop now. I could just stop this suffering at mile 80, 85, 90. I could stop that now. But them children can't. Them children don't have that luxury. They're in it for the long haul. Hopefully they'll be successful. Some won't, some will. But ultimately they have no choice. And that's what I think. I think I go back to that time in the prison cell when I created and manifested Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance. But then I also go back to not so much the start line, but maybe a couple of days before, when I was in a nice comfortable position, a nice comfortable state, and I chose to do this. And it's like, that state that you're in there is much more reliable than the state that you're in now.
Yeah.
So the state that you're in now, whilst you're sleep deprived, you're suffering, you're coming up with this decision. But that state that you were in when you were nice, comfortable, thinking logical, sleep deprivation weren't a problem, you come up with that decision. So which decision's more reliable? That one. Yeah. If you stop now, when you're back to that state, you are going to be absolutely gutted. You're not going to live with yourself. So let's just crack on and let's just carry on. That's what comes to my mind. I become very, very aware of how I was feeling when I chose to embark on this. On this
That's
journey.
quite powerful as well, isn't it? When you're in that clear headspace and that clear mind before you start, you're saying to yourself, I'm choosing to do this. I get to, and we've spoke about that as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Being grateful. I get the opportunity to do this.
Absolutely.
Those kids, like you talk about, that are suffering and are potentially terminally ill, they don't have that choice.
Absolutely. And bear in mind, which I touched on earlier on, that's the connection why I do it. Do you know that's the why. That's when I was trying to build this connection of why I enjoy doing it, and not even enjoy doing it. There's something that the want is there, but why is the want there? And that was the why. So that's that is what keeps me going.
And were there any moments this year? And this might be a one-word answer, and I think it probably is. But were there any moments this year where you wanted to stop, or felt like you needed to quit, or just hit any kind of wall?
One-word answer, Niall Trainor. You joking, aren't you?
I think I spoke to you. I don't know. I feel like I spoke to you once, and you were just like, no.
Yeah,
it was just never an option.
But do you know what? Again, this is something that I wanted to get onto. And Greg, who also completed the who was the other runner who completed the 100 mile Grand Slam this season.
Yeah.
He put a post on social media, and wow, I could just resonate to it so much. And he was talking about how all encompassing this all consuming this Grand Slam has been. And bear in mind, he was doing the 100 mile Grand Slam when I was doing them both. And he said it's consumed his life. He's fighting for happiness. He's having to stay extremely grateful for what he. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but this is like my outlook on it. Is that the double Grand Slam? It's that encompassing it and just takes over your life. You have no other. Everything else becomes second to it. So.
And is that the sacrifice for success?
Yes, well, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So, when you're saying then, is there times when you just wanted to stop and you just wanted to quit? The obvious times would be, 80 miles in, 2 o'clock in the morning, up a mountain in Snowdon or Scotland somewhere. Which, of course, sometimes. But it was also times at work, midday, on a Wednesday. And I'm thinking, I've got to go and do a run tonight. I ain't got to, because I ain't got to do anything. But this goal required me to go and do a run tonight. And then I've got that race in 2 weeks. And I can feel that I'm absent from my family to a certain extent. I mean, I do stay aware that I have to, but I have to be there for my children. But it's just natural. If you're exhausting yourself that much, you're just naturally going to be absent in some way, shape, or form. So like I said, there was times when even midweek, maybe just off the back of a race, and you're thinking, I've got to go and do this again, and you can. I like to stay present. I like to be grateful what I've got here and now. But I would always think, I can't wait for this to be over.
Yeah.
But then when I said that, I felt so guilty. But it's like...
And those are the moments where you have to revisit that sort of mission statement and that mantra that you've set for yourself. Sometimes every now and again, you just need that little reminder of... I'm just... you said when you self-evaluate yourself and make sure you're always within that line.
Yep.
As you start to sway below it or above it, you have to just recheck and recalibrate and remind yourself why you're there.
Back to baseline and look, this is what you again. Yeah. Go back to the time when you signed up for it. This is what you signed up for.
Yeah.
And I guess top and bottom of it is, if it was easy, it would have been done before.
Yes. Yeah.
If there wasn't much to sacrifice, it would have been done time and time again.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I smile at that because the double Grand Slam itself, I think, was it that hard? Do you know what I mean? Like,
you may think about your next challenge
listen,
now.
no, it was hard for me, but what I'm saying is it that hard to do? But then I think, well, GB Ultra's been going for quite a while now. it has some absolute machines who take part in the GB Ultras. I mean, machines in many forms, machines who go there to outright win a race. But then you've got people like your Scotty Haslam and your Stuart Nevin who are consistent at doing, they're all over the country doing races here, there and everywhere. But nobody has done the double Grand Slam, so it must be difficult in some way. You know, and that's what I think. Is it all that difficult what I've done? Then I think.
I mean, the answer to that is yes.
If nobody's done it, then it must be quite hard if nobody's done it.
Did you always believe that you were going to complete it?
Always said this to her.
Maybe that was a thing you said yes to.
Always.
Are you going to do it? Yeah,
always. And
the reason why I asked you that is because we chatted on a previous podcast, didn't we? And we were saying, if you don't believe you can do something, and this was on a much smaller scale, it wasn't about completing a double Grand Slam, but we were saying, if you don't believe you can do it, how are you going to convince other people that you can actually do it? So I asked you that because through those times of thinking, oh, is this really worth it, and blah, 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 I'm just interested to know, has that always been a mindset, I'm going to do this and I can do this? Has that always been?
Yes, absolutely. So I would not disagree with that. However, to add some substance and some and a logical standpoint to it, the thing that you are believing in has to be obtainable by your own standards. So what I mean by that is you can't go into it with blind faith. You know, you have to have evidence there to suggest that you can do it. So that's you build that by doing your training and stuff like that. But yeah, like say short term is you must believe in whatever you're going to do. You must believe that you can do it. There will be doubt. So I can give you an example to that. So, and this is an exclusive. In 2025, I'm doing 3 major events to me. 2 of them are world records. One is the 24-hour burpee world record, which we've kind of touched on. But the other world record is a million miles on the Concept 2 rower. Okay.
Wow.
Now that's only changed in the past 2 weeks. The original plan was to do the longest continuous row on the Concept 2 indoor rower, and that's something like 5 days something. And Tash, I don't know whether I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd blinking give it a go. Doesn't scare me. But logically, looking at it based on previous evidence, okay, I don't know whether I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I've never done before. The million miles requires me to work hard, rest, work hard, rest. Basically, the double Grand Slam compressed into 4 or 5 days, where the longest continuous row will require me to stay up for 5 days. So if I had completed the race across Scotland, okay, which requires you to be running for 3.5 days, sleep in small intervals, get up, crack on, small interval sleep, get up, crack on. If I had completed that, I would be confident that I can go, or I would have more tangible evidence and a more feel of how this continuous row would be. But I've not done that. What I do know is I know that I can work for 40 hours, have a rest, and then carry on working. And that is what. So basically, what I'm getting at is that yes, you have to have belief in whatever you're doing, but don't just go into something blind and get all wrapped up in this philosophical.
Your belief's got to be there, and it's a good foundation. But you've got to be organised, have the experience, and all of that to go with it. It's not just your belief; it's everything else.
What's the saying? What's the saying now? Confidence is based on. I can't even think of the saying, but there's a saying surrounding that which is spot on. I think it's confidence.
Confidence comes with experience.
Something along them lines, yeah. But the saying is true. So yeah.
And when you completed the ultramarathon double Grand Slam, that last race, when you crossed that finish line.
I was hoping to catch you at the end of that, but you got there too quick.
Yeah.
Got there too quick. So I've actually not had a chance to congratulate you properly, mate.
Confidence comes from preparation.
There you go.
I knew that. Listen, I could not have moved on if I didn't. When you were talking about before about what your thoughts, what goes on in Niall's mind, my mind then was going nowhere else other than scanning my memory for that saying.
You woke up at 3 o'clock this morning.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
But yeah, so that's it there. So basically, confidence comes from preparation. So that's anything you believe you can do something based off your preparation. Yeah. Going into that. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Brilliant.
But yeah, when you finish, I was hoping you got there before me, so I've actually not had a chance to congratulate you actually yet, mate, in person. So congratulations, obviously.
Thank you.
But yeah, we obviously on the Friday night again sort of saw Niall, and we did a little interview about obviously tomorrow we'll be completing it. Yeah. And that was Glasgow to Edinburgh, so that was back in October, wasn't it?
Yep.
And then I saw you a couple of times on the route, and every time I pass him on the route, it's always like I can spot him from a mile away because you always wear those illuminous.
Yeah, and I always start to shake his hand, and you can see the awkwardness in him. It's like, no, don't stop, don't just carry on. I have to stop. I always say to him, I would not miss the opportunity. Yeah. Honestly, Ollie, from the bottom of my heart, mate, I would not miss this opportunity. And he's like, all right, now go, carry on going.
Sometimes I see him on the. Sometimes I put the drone up and I see the luminous green shorts in the distance. Right, Niall's on his way, and he runs from home. He's like, right, Niall, you're right. He's like, yeah. I was like, no, don't stop and talk. Don't stop and talk. Like, I don't want to push him out of his of his mindset. He's like, no. Like,
onto the green shorts as well. The last 2 events, there was a gentleman there racing with green shorts. And the first time I seen him, how dare you come with luminous green shorts on? They're mine. That's what makes me stand out. Brilliant, yeah, good stuff. So the feeling after the Glasgow to Edinburgh, when the double Grand Slam was completed, was again relief. Like, not relief in it's completed. More relief in I can move on now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I can move on and
you had all your family there as well, didn't you? At the end of that, how did that feel?
Well, that was absolutely mega. Not only did I have all my family there, my daughter ran over the finish line with me.
Wow.
So that feeling was amazing.
It's quite a full circle, that, considering that at Snowdon, when you had to DNF, your family all came to the last checkpoint, and even though they were still supportive and stuff, you still feel like you had. It wasn't
complete. Yeah, it wasn't complete. Yeah, so they were more there to support. Well, they were there to support my failure. They were there to play the role of what family members do, support somebody whilst they are going through a moment of not tragedy, but
unconditionally.
Yeah, but then
this time
they were there to support in the moment of success. Or celebrate, not support, celebrate. Yeah. So, like I say, across the finish line with my daughter, which was absolutely amazing. But the overriding feeling was just, I'm glad it's done.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's done, and now I can move on now.
Yeah.
Because like you say, it's a lot of sacrifice, isn't it? So when you get to that point, it's like,
absolutely, yeah. I mean, which I touched on before. Once it's done, I'm gonna go and eat McDonald's and do this. I'm gonna do that and this and that. The next morning, I got up and I was like, I might go for a run today. I go and do a run today.
When you were about a mile off finishing, about a mile, 2 miles off finishing.
I bet it was the quickest mile you've ever ran. That.
What was going through your mind in that point? Was it just I need to get? Was it excitement, or at what point did you go from being in pain from it, being 90 odd miles in or whatever, to this is almost done?
No, well, believe it or not, it was up there with the last. So I did the first marathon of that 50 mile, the G2A, in I think in 3 hours 28 minutes something, which is again very respectable. But my body doesn't bode well with flat, hard surfaces. Running on flat, hard surfaces. I don't know what it is. Again, biomechanically, my left leg just gives up on me. So from mile 30, I was suffering.
Yeah, a lot of people said that I passed on the route because the Glasgow to Edinburgh. So like Chester and stuff can be like quite traily, like you go through Delamere Forest, and whereas like Manchester to Liverpool and Glasgow to Edinburgh, it's just quite not much elevation, but hard ground.
Yeah.
And a lot of people struggled with that.
Not even so much Manchester to Liverpool. Yes, they are both canal paths, but the Glasgow to Edinburgh, it was like a brand spanking new black path.
Which you think from not being there, you think that would be easier?
Absolutely. Well, I put a video on my story, on my Instagram story. So I labelled Glasgow to Edinburgh as a victory lap. That's what it was. It was the victory lap, and I put a video on thing saying, "This is still a victory lap. However, the victory lap is now taking place in hell." It is now, because honestly, I was in so much pain. It was unreal. So the last, I think the last checkpoint was 50 miles.
Yeah, because Glasgow to Edinburgh is a 50-mile race, but it's a couple of weighing miles on the end. It's actually 57.
To be fair to him, it is sold or it is headlined as a 57-mile ultramarathon. So it's not.
Okay.
They're honest with this one.
Yeah.
57.
Part of the 50 Grand Slam, but I
still think my watch coming at 59 something. But anyway, so when I got to mile 50, my partner, my children were at that checkpoint, so that was good to see them. And then it was the last 7 miles home, and I did the last 7 miles with John Park, who was also suffering. And there was obviously the closer I got, it was right. This is nearly over. But no, I couldn't enjoy it because of this.
So much pain.
Now, obviously, it's all part and part of suffering in ultramarathons, these niggles. But I like it because I don't like it, kind of thing. I like the sleep deprivation, the ultimate fatigue of the nervous system. That kind of suffering I like and enjoy. But not a bloody injury in my knee. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, obviously, I embrace it and crack on, but it's like, let me enjoy the suffering that should happen. Do you know what I mean? I mean, blisters and things like that. Things that are inevitable in an ultramarathon. Like, this is what I signed up for. You know, I knew that this was going to be an event of suffering. Okay. That is what I accept to sign up for it. But I've got all the things that are inevitable and just a blinking extra bit of specificity of suffering. It's like you can't write it. So it's honestly it's thingy. But once we got to the finish line, it was more relief than anything that it's over, and I can now kind of like get my life back a bit.
So the double Grand Slams done, completed.
Yep.
2024, you've boxed it off. What's next?
So you mentioned 3 things before, but you've only told us 2.
Yeah, 3 things.
Keeping one secret.
So yeah, I'll keep one secret. But so the answer to that question, Tash, is 3 events. This time I am going to situate the 3 events in the local community.
Okay.
I want to get them involved. Create a good community spirit. They are going to be ranging from 24 hours to 20 days. So by situating myself in the community for a prolonged period of time, I'm hoping that it has enough time to gather pace and traction, and the family know about it, then friends know about it, then their friends, and they can all come and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Hopefully the last event will be the 20-day event, and I'm hoping that will snowball further than the community and get traction. Remember, like I say, exposure is not the ultimate reward, but exposure is the what's the word I'm looking for? It's what I'm seeking at this moment in time. Exposure for Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance, and that's not for benefit for Niall Trainor. That's benefit for the children, for the charities.
The more eyes on it and the more exposure you can get, the more people you're going to reach, which means the more people you're going to help.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah. So that's that. So basically, the 2025 goal is to participate in events that are going to build the greatest exposure for Niall Trainor Ultra Endurance. Therefore,
And do you have any ultras booked next year? You don't?
No. So these are going to be the two of the three events are world records.
Yeah.
And then the other event is going to be a run.
Mm-hmm.
But a self-organized run.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. I'm looking forward to that. 2025.
Wow. I feel like I've learnt so much about.
2025.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what it takes physically and mentally to do what you've done this year. But from being in that prison cell to sat here today.
Yeah.
You must feel proud of yourself, mate.
Yeah.
You must feel.
Well,
or do you think like that?
Right. So when you asked the question, how did I feel when I crossed that finish line of the GB Ultras double Grand Slam of Glasgow to Edinburgh? Listen, I'm fully aware that what I've completed was a goal that I set, and I had gratitude for that. But it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't underwhelming. I'm not saying I'll say it was under. It's not what I thought. It just was what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you used the word proud there, about 3 weeks ago, when I raised money for children facing difficult circumstances, I would help any child facing difficult circumstances. Just go into a little bit about the charity aspect of it. When I was doing these events for the GB Ultras early on, what I would do is I would plea to people if they knew anybody who had a child who was going through adversity, and if so, I was willing to raise awareness for whatever they're going through, whatever organisation or charity they're going through. Because what I envisioned is early on was to create a close rapport with these children. Okay, not just raise money and give them to a big charity and listen, I've got nothing against big charitable organisations, but myself, I wanted to build that close, intimate relationship with families and just
more to help the individual rather than a larger charity.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
You want it to be specific.
Yes, intimate is what I want it to be, an intimate where I know not that I have any suspicion.
Yeah.
You know
where you're more in control of that, though, aren't you? If you're physically saying I've raised X amount and it's going
and it's going
to you.
It's going to you. Yes, exactly. So I became introduced to a young lad called Huey, who has a great battle on his hands. He has a rare blood cancer. Okay, and Huey's mum and dad, Kate and Shane, fantastic human beings, absolutely fantastic human beings. We have the same outlook on raising funds. So Hugh is under the care of the Manchester Children's Hospital, Ward 86. And what Huey, Shane and Kate do, they raise money and awareness for charities and organisations on the ward, but go to them directly. Yeah. Okay. So the money that are raised gets put to each individual's directly. So you can see again. I don't want to use words. You can see where it's going, but you can see the effect that it has. You can see, and all that does is spurs you on more to go and to go put more fire in your belly. So we've built a good relationship. Me, Shane, Huey, Kate. We built a good relationship. Up until this point that I'm going to get to now, we never actually met each other. We would just converse over phone calls. And then he invited me to a do that the Cooper Hands Foundation, which is their charity that they've created themselves. The Cooper Hands Foundation were doing a do at Stockport County's football ground for Huey, and to disperse the monies that have been raised this year. Included my contributions through the ultra that I've done. So I ended up going there. We ended up going there, me, my partner, and my 2 children. And he kept saying to me, what time are you staying till? You're in no rush to go. Are you in no rush to go? I'm like, no, I'm in no rush to go. And nothing clicked at first. I didn't really click. I just thought he was just caring about
spending time with you.
Spending time, yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm just doing a little speech at 7 o'clock, so just thinking. So then I thought, he's probably going to give me a little mention. Here. And I was thinking, blinking heck, I don't really want a mention. I don't do it for this. Do you know what I mean? I think the room's full. I'm thinking, it's going to be awkward. So 7 o'clock comes. He does his speech, and to say he gave me a little mention would just be what I say. Just do what he did an injustice. I was awarded the Cooper Hands Foundation Award, which basically just highlights the work that I've done, and to be awarded that in front of my 2 children and my partner, that was the moment then when I realised that this is all coming together. This is all, what you said then about being proud. That's when
it sunk in.
Yeah, that's when then it sunk in. Like, that's the reward for the double Grand Slam.
Yeah.
That's the not the medal that I accumulated for the double. That's the award for the double Grand Slam.
Sort of the acknowledgement that it's all been for the right reasons, and it's all worked out
absolutely.
well.
And it was just a reminder of, again, which I touched on before, guys, about when I go into my own mind, all I'm thinking about is be good. Just be good. And when I say be good, it's subjective, but like that's all I'm trying to do is be a good person, be good. And that there is what it was, just a reminder of you're doing right, you're doing what you set out to do. You're going in the right direction. So that there was I don't think any achievement would surpass that. To be honest, I mean, the feelings that went on within me was unreal. Like true definition of proud. So that was the best feeling of this year. That was my greatest achievement of this year by far.
Yeah.
In fact, again, being a deep thinker, that wasn't actually the greatest achievement of the year. That was a reflection of the greatest achievement of the year. And the greatest achievement for me of this year was being me.
Yeah, and
truly
doing what you said
me.
You were going to do.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it will have all been well and good saying all these things, not the actual tasks, but it all comes down to the sort of mantra you set for yourself, and to be able to look back at yourself and say, I am who I said I was going to be.
Exactly. When I was doing them walks, I built a belief system, values that I was going to go out and implement on this world. And every time I self-check, not once have I looked back and gone, and this is me being honest, not once have I looked back and gone, nah, for whatever reason, whether the situation, whether I needed to live outside my beliefs to gain something out of that situation or whatever, never once have I lived outside
never
of
wavered.
my belief. Yeah. I can honestly sit down, again, it's all subjective, but I can sit down and go, have you not been a bad person, but have you not been a good person?
Yeah.
Since you decided to become self-aware, since you decided to just be good.
Yeah.
And I can't sit here and say that I have, because that I have gone against it, because I've not.
Yeah.
Every morning, every step I take, every word I speak is for the good.
Yeah.
It's for the good, and my number one intention is to not cause harm to anybody. That's where I'm at. Just don't cause harm to nobody. That is my definition of being good. Just don't cause harm to others.
Yeah. You've obviously learnt a lot along the way, and going back to when you did your first race, Snowdon, and you said, navigation was something that you'd learnt, and that was obviously quite practical, and you could clearly see that. But over the past sort of year and a half, what would be your top 3 takeaways that you've learnt along the way?
Top 3 takeaways. Again, just going on to what I've just said then, really, is it sounds a bit, it sounds like a bit I'm blowing my own trumpet, but I'm the real deal. Like what I say I'm gonna do, and I don't mean performance wise. I mean morally and just being a good person, I am doing it. You know, genuinely. The conversation that you have, the most authentic and integral conversation you have is the one that you have with yourself. But when I'm out on these runs and I'm in that place where I'm isolated and I'm deep in my thoughts, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it because I'm living exactly in line with who I want to be. And that is, like I say, I couldn't really say this other than
I mean, staying true to who you are has got you to where you are.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
So maybe that's one thing in itself.
It's got me to where I am, but not only that, it's allowed me to live a good life. I try not to say I'm happy, because I believe that happiness is a fleeting emotion. Okay, I think it's contentment that I'm searching for. Just a nice baseline, just a nice average mean line going through, not up, not down, not
consistent.
Just consistent
and to feel
line.
fulfilled as well with what you're doing.
Exactly. Like when things do get difficult, I just remember that I can go out and run, or I can go out and train, or I can. Do you know what I mean? I've got that to fall back on, and as long as I've got that to fall back on, then that's all. That's all that really is valuable to me. Yeah.
Well, listen, mate, you've had an incredible year, and obviously we really, really appreciate you coming down, and it's been an absolute pleasure as well to see you this year as well. Obviously, you're absolute, like, every time I see you, even though you're 50 miles in and 60 miles in, you're always an absolute gent to catch up with and speak to, and I obviously really appreciate you. Really appreciate what you've done, and to hear. Obviously, I've seen you out on the runs, but to know a little bit deeper into the reasons why you were doing it and what the help you have done, what you've done has helped so much. And to hear how not only it's helped a wider organisation, to know it's helped individuals as well. I think that's really special. And like I said, you should be incredibly proud of the year you've had, mate.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much.
And I think if we've got anything else to
No, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, and thank you for letting us in on the journey that you've been through over the past couple of years. And the only thing I've got left to say is I need to come with you to a GB Ultras event, because after hearing so much about them.
Come to my 3 events next year. That
goes without saying.
As long as the Luna screenshots are there, mate. Then
no, they're in the picture frame now. With
are they?
Absolutely.
Choosing a new
because
colour
again,
for next year.
Another thing just to finish on is them green shorts. They were on my backside at 92 miles of Snowdon. So that's, again, me being me, that was
symbolised.
These are coming with me. These are staying with me. And they've got big holes in them and everything, but absolutely no way am I changing these shorts until it's done, finished. And now they're hung up.
Now they're framed up and retired.
Yeah,
when I come and watch these events then in 2025, you better have some other brightly coloured shorts.
I only wear brightly coloured shorts.
Choose a new colour for the new year.
Well, not brightly coloured. They might not be brightly coloured, but one thing they'll be guaranteed, they'll be short shorts. Yeah, that's one thing guaranteed, yeah. Right, even if the Ultra's in the Antarctica, they'll be shorts, tight short
Brilliant.
shorts.
To give people at home a bit of context as well, our studio is freezing.
Yeah, it's
and
cold,
Niall's been a trooper. He's sat there in
listen,
shorts and a t-shirt.
I was just about to say as well. I thought I didn't want to like get you in trouble. I was going to say my biggest achievement of this year is to hold all the shivering back in the past half an hour, because I've just started to go absolutely freezing.
See, I told you all the regretting there. Only one that was smart enough to get the
exactly. The stoic me's come round to bite me on the butt. Yeah.
Right, spot on, mate. Thank you so much.
Thank you.